everybody. So today's Monday. That means it's time for family movie night. And so for the rest of March, we are catching up on some animated reviews that I haven't done exclusive videos for on the channel. It's going to be really fun. We're getting ready for Suzume coming out in US in April. So I'm really excited to talk about some Makoto Shinkai films that I haven't really talked about much on the channel. Really looking forward to that. And we're doing kind of a grab bag film this week. I thought, let's talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Why did I love it so much? What made it so special? It was my favorite movie of 2022. And is it just because it was such a surprise? Is that the only reason? I think that that's honestly part of it. The fact that they didn't have to try so hard and they did try so hard does make it get some extra brownie points in my book than if this was just the first in the series. I think I would still be really impressed, but they could easily have just phoned it in and made a lazy sequel and nobody would have really thought that much about it. It would have been fine. But the fact that they push themselves artistically so much, they push themselves story-wise so much, they push themselves character-wise so much, and they really pushed and reinvented the entire Shrek franchise. And, the good Shrek movies have been good because they were basically a source of parody. They were making fun of Disney, they were making fun of DreamWorks and making fun of fairy tales, all those things. And being a little bit edgy, a little bit spicy at times, like the joke about a Sleeping Beauty about she doesn't sleep around, and things like that, that made it kind of edgy and daring. And the jokes that they would have, it has some funny parts, absolutely, but it's not a parody film. It's about the characters and the story, which even if you enjoyed the Shrek movies, I don't think you'd really say that the characters were the biggest strength of the series. It was more the writing, it was more the clever humor and parody of going on that was going on. And so it's really reinventing this entire franchise, which says something when you're 5 movies. This is the 6th movie in a franchise, so it's pretty daring to do. They also take a character which I've long said I felt like the Antonio Banderas celebrity voice performance in Puss in Boots. It was one of the strongest. That it's a perfect matching of actor to character because it just fits so well. You can't imagine anyone else giving that voice. Can't imagine anyone else doing that role. It just works, and so it's a lot of times if they do a celebrity voice, it will be distracting, and in this case, it just adds to it. It's just his body of work, his Zorro roles, things like that, just make the character even richer. And you have so many other really wonderful vocal performances in this movie with Selma Hayek, John Mulaney, Florence Pugh, Olivia Colman. Just some really, really, really great vocal performances. And you have these characters that, in the case of Puss in Boots, that we already know, Kitty Softpaws that we already know. So we're getting to learn more about them. And you have it taking on these deep themes that you don't expect in a movie like this, certainly not a sequel. The fact that it is talking about death and Puss in Boots figuring out that trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life and what gives life meaning, his relationship with Kitty Softpaws, with Perito, and that he only has one life left. And what is he going to do with that life? And I also, you just love Perito. He's kind of this like innocent, sweet, but also surprisingly dark character that is so funny, so sweet, so well done. And it adds a lot to the role, and the romance between Kitty Softpaws and Puss in Boots is something that I think really works. What do you want to dedicate your life to? What really matters in relationships? And then with Goldilocks, you have this. With Goldilocks, you have this person who has a family but doesn't recognize it because it's not your traditional family. And through the course of the movie, she comes to understand that she actually does have a family that loves her, a family that she made, which I think is really beautiful and wonderful. And that she has people who chose to love her, not just that she was born into the family. They chose to make her part of the family, which I think is beautiful. You also have the fact that only certain people can see certain things on the map. that depending on how pure your heart is. And so, of course, Purito can see all the goodness and all the sweet things. And so that just really is beautiful and works. You have Puss in Boots confronting death, and you have this incredibly terrifying villain of this wolf. And we haven't had a terrifying villain in an animated film in so long. So this is just very exciting. We've gotten these generational trauma villains in most animated films lately, and so to have this just outright evil death villain, but he's not. He's just fulfilling his duty of being death, right? So it's not even totally evil, but scary nonetheless, and maybe more so because of that. And then you have the kind of generational trauma going on with Goldilocks and her coming to understand her family. And then you have Jack Horner, who's sort of more your sniveling, fun, over the top, silly villain. And I could have even used a little bit less of him and more of the wolf, but then again, I think it makes it more scary because you never know when he's going to show up. And so I love the way that they used music in this movie. I think it's very effective and chilling. I think the first 20 minutes are some of the best animation I have ever seen, with Puss in Boots jumping across the rooftops, and that 2D hybrid animation I just absolutely love. I think it is so beautiful. And all the animation throughout, when it's the good parts of the map, when it's the scary parts of the map, you see like a distinct difference in the animation styles. The way they have the action in the animation, that it slows down the frame rates, that really keeps things moving and flowing. And that is just really effective and immersive. I love it. And I knew that I loved the movie after I saw it, and it was such a satisfying experience because I had just been watching like screener after screener after screener, and I put this in and I think, oh, probably not gonna like it that much. We'll see. And then just my mouth was agape at the action, at the characters, at the story, at everything that I had just seen. I was blown away. I really think they just deserve all the praise that they've gotten. And it's been so gratifying to see that this movie has really had such great word of mouth, that people have said to their friends and to their, if they're content creators, to their audiences, go see this. This is really worth watching. This is incredibly well done. And it's just continued to gain momentum. It's still playing at theaters by me, and yet it's been out for streaming for a long time. So people are still wanting to see it. People are telling their friends. The word is spreading, and it's ended up making more than Black Adam, which I just think is so great and such a wonderful thing that that's still possible in 2023, that movies can get that kind of word of mouth and people will flock to something that is great, and people will tell their friends, and you can have this still happen. A lot of people think, oh, people are just going to wait to see it on streaming, but that's not the case here. People went and saw it because it was really well done, great characters, great story, great animation. I don't know what else you could ask for them in this movie. This is absolutely the best that this movie could be. And I think that that's just wonderful. And congratulations. They deserve all the praise. What impressed you the most about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? I would love to hear in the comment section or on Twitter. And please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And then I have my Patreon group, which I guess a lot of you don't know about, but the Patreon group is really fun. You get to be part of our Facebook group. You get to be part of watch-alongs. I have weekly reviews on Sundays for the AFI Passions Project that are just for patrons. There's a lot of great benefits. So please take a look at that. It would really, really help me out. And then we also have the merch store. You can hashtag Animation Junkie shirts. So take a look at that. And thanks again, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.